Hello, dear viewers, and welcome on Allatra TV UK. This live conversation will be also broadcasted on Allatra TV India. How do we envision society of a new, creative format, where human is fundamental unit of society, where everyone is guaranteed equal rights and opportunities? Secure and stable society, where everyone will believe in happiness, prosperity, and feel safe. On the platform of Allatraunites.com, you can watch an eye-opening event. It's a historical conference which was held on the 20th of March this year. It was called Creative Society, What the Prophets Dreamed of. For the first time, people from all over the world have purified the truth and showed that together we can build the world worthy of human to live in. So let's watch this video now.
Millions of people from all over the world have gathered together today to speak openly about what the prophets dreamed of.
We are living in time of great change, as the ancestors has prophesied about this time, that the world will be going through a mass spiritual awakening.
Because the existence of humanity itself is now under threat and will depend on if it can make the right choice
to prove to God, to Jesus, and to our prophets that we are worthy of the title of a human, that we all, the people of planet Earth, are chosen.
And what's happening today, right now, is really a sign.
All the prophets, great teachers who came, created a mini model of the creative society.
And its goal to just get out of this dead-end consumerism and move towards more of humane kind of society by strengthening the society.
We are more than 99% all united in one God, in one love. Our prophet's dream come true.
It is our responsibility to decide. Will we forget about this event tomorrow and about the truth that we're speaking now? Will we forget the responsibility to our family and friends and leave things as they are? Will we sit and watch our world being destroyed? Or we will do everything possible and impossible to preserve life, the life of everyone without exception.
God is one. Whether you are traditional, whether you are spiritual, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are Buddhist, whether you are a Baha'i, whatever you are, however you believe it.
Today, we are all the witnesses of purification when people from all over the world have gathered, the people of different religions, and come together and talk about one truth.
This is the time. We have to take this opportunity. This is the time we have to be together. Let's build this creative society. Let's be united because, yes, together we can.
So yes, the Creative Society project is a unique global project that has been launched on the platform of Allatra International Public Movement. And dear friends, if you would like to find more about this project, please visit our official website, Allatraunites.com. So my name is Alla, and today this beautiful broadcast will be hosted with me, Nari. Hi Nari, could you please introduce our esteemed guest?
Hi everybody, I'm Nari, a ladies leadership and success coach, and today we continue our discussion about creative society and how we aim to build it in the shortest time possible. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest, Mr. Rishabh C. Kothari. Now Rishabh has a whole host of history to his name and lots of achievements. He is a CEO of CKC Fragrances, a leading manufacturer of fragrances for industrial applications. His craft is an interesting mix of science and creativity, which extends to his interests and also to his personality. He is very active in the social capacity, as well as industry bodies and forums, including being the president of the Fragrance and Flavour Association of India, a member of the National MSME Board of the Government of India, as well as Senior Vice President of 119-year-old Premier Business Chamber, MCCI. He often writes and contributes to various publications and periodicals, and is also the editor of a Perfumery Journal. So with all that, hello dear Rishabh, and welcome to our program. We are very happy and honored to have you here with us today. Your area of interest is so vibrant, and you're a very successful entrepreneur, obviously. Could you please, to start off with, share with us why you've chosen this field and what inspires you in your life and work?
Sorry, Rishabh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, my apologies. So thank you very much for those warm words, and a very good morning and a very good afternoon to people who have joined us from all over the globe, especially in the United Kingdom and in India. So, what prompted me to be in this field is, it's not a very difficult proposition. My family was involved in trading of fragrance products for a long time. And as a child, I used to, especially during my holidays, I used to visit our office, our workplace, and I was absolutely fascinated with the whole world of fragrance and smells. So it was like a childhood interest which developed, and when I used to go there during weekends or when I had school holidays, and I started working on these two things, looking at various fragrances, mixing them, trying to create something new, a lot of amateur stuff, but I was absolutely fascinated by that experience. Another very important aspect of me doing this was related to perhaps what is a very important aspect of my life, and which is a practice which I practice. It's called heartfulness. So this is a simple way of life practice, which helps one using various tools like relaxation, like meditation. It helps us grow individually as a person and become a more productive and better citizens of this world. But when we talk about changing society, when we talk about change in society, society cannot change unless the individuals in that society change. So when I started heartfulness practice, and it was all about living with the heart, to being true to yourself, your heart, as well as the entire idea of being creative from inside. And in front of me, I had this opportunity to start with a craft, to start with a profession which was inherently a very creative field. When you're in the business of fragrances, you're in the business of creating aromas. There is nothing but creativity there. So it was a huge opportunity for me to align what I felt, align what I thought with the opportunity in terms of profession that I had. So to cut a long story short, it was I had the best of both the worlds. It was something my family knew. It was something I was fascinated from childhood, and it was something which really, really appealed to me. So I have nothing to complain.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. It's absolutely amazing. Of course, when we're children, we experience whole world we experience differently. It looks so big, it looks so amazing. And of course, this inspirations from your childhood is just, you can see this for all your life, and it's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're absolutely right. To build a society, we need everyone involved with mindset change, first of all, and respect each other and care for each other. And because what the society actually contains, what is formed from us individuals who is doing the best, isn't it? And this is why we need all just to get together, unite in one goal, and create some society we all dream to live in, really decent, worthy for all of us to live in. So my next question to you will be that, how do you envision creating society where for you, your loved ones and everyone will be happy and safe and secure to live in? What this world, what image of this world is for you?
Well, I think we all create our own individual universes. So I think when we talk about what is the vision of the world, it is what we create for ourselves. There is no individual separate world out there than what we see. When I started Heartfulness, and I was always constrained in some ways. When good people say, "Oh, it will change you," or "How does it help you?" and things like that. I will not say that any practice or anything changes the world around us. What it changes is the fact that our vision towards it, our abilities of how we look at things, and our reactions to them, that is what changes. So I think the real change that happens around us, I don't think there is anything which is going to change the world. What is going to change the world is how we react to things. See, things are not always in your control, but your reactions are in your control. So whether we want to see the glass half full or we want to see the glass half empty is totally up to us. So I think the way I look at it is that if I am able to become a better citizen of this world, if I am able to become a better person, I will on my own attract and create interest in others to follow that path. Unless I don't lead by example, I don't think anything can happen. Which is why there is a very famous quotation attributed to the great freedom fighter from India who's known as the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who has said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." So I think we are all ambassadors of that change in our own ways, how we want to bring that change about. And unless we really work towards it, nothing can happen. So the way I see it is that if I am more tuned to my heart, if I am going to present to the world the best that I am and attract someone to that calmness, to that sense of peace, love, unity, it is unlike COVID, it is going to be an infection which we all want to spread very, very fast. But again, like COVID, it has to start somewhere. So it has to, in this case, it has to start with us. I don't think there are any shortcuts to it.
Thank you very much. That was a lovely answer. And I love the concept of be the change that you want to see. So absolutely, we shouldn't be expecting other people to be a certain way that we can't exhibit ourselves in the first place. And this is especially important, I think, to the example we provide to the next generation as well. So these things are absolutely fundamental about starting with ourselves and exerting that positive, optimistic energy outwards. And like you said, let it be contagious and let the message spread and get out there for more people to be aligned on this journey of spirituality, growth and love. So with that being said, my next question for you is about profession. So in a society where often the choice of people's profession and what we do is dedicated by external circumstances or conditions. If we flip that around and think about a society where everyone has employment, for example, that employment, if it's guaranteed, and we can choose a profession, we're open to choose a profession that we really like, that we really want to do, that's not bound by circumstances. In your opinion, how much will this influence people's lives and make them happier?
I think, frankly, this whole idea that something can bring me happiness, I personally disagree with. I think we have created an illusion in our minds that if I have A, B, and C, it is going to make me happier. I respectfully disagree with that thought process in the first place. But I think happiness is something not in an object or a circumstance, it is within ourselves. So you find that, there are n number of stories and movies, and we see that the same thing makes someone very happy and the same thing someone is very unhappy about. Yesterday, I was seeing a short video where, there are two friends, and a friend is driving a Rolls Royce, and then he discovers that his other friend has bought a aircraft for himself, and this fellow is absolutely unhappy. That oh, he's done so well for himself, and he's got a aircraft, and I'm just roaming around in a Rolls Royce. And then there is this other set of people who are absolutely envious of this guy because the guy has a Rolls Royce, and they are in either they have a vehicle. I mean, the story proceeds on those lines. That you count your blessings. So I think the real happiness is not in me having my chosen profession. Real happiness is not in me acquiring certain objects which I feel will eventually give me happiness. If I'm going to base my happiness based on these things, these are all transitory things. When I don't have X, I want X. The moment I have X, I want X squared, then I want X cubed. If I don't have 2 meals a day, in countries which are relatively poor, people don't have 2 meals a day and they are unhappy about it. In some places, they're unhappy because they don't get the kind of choice of food they want. Forget about. So I think, we are not looking at happiness in those lines. We have to see about. So this is the second part of the question that you put across, which was, if I had the choice, and will it make me? But I think if we teach people to be happy, no matter what, they will definitely be happy in their chosen profession. But if you look at profession as something you need to do and create joy and happiness, it's like what I tell my children, that take pride in what you have to do, take pride in what you're doing. Automatically, sense of satisfaction, the sense of, as children, they're required to study 6 subjects. And they love 4, and the other 4 they don't like at all. I've been trying to tell them, you start creating interest within yourself, and automatically you will see that your whole approach towards the subject itself changes. So I think that's the fundamental change that we need to bring about in our society, because people are unhappy, you look at the sense of disgruntlement that is there, the sense of unhappiness. I'm not trying to say that we should be accepting of injustice. I'm not saying that we should be docile or things like that. But in our personal lives, see, even if I am going to stand up for injustice, it is because of the principle, not because it is a reaction to something within me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for your point of view. Of course, we need to encourage our children and generally youth and adults as well to self-development and understand what that happiness is for them as well. But of course, if we saturate our life today and now with instead of these bad values, with good values like kindness, love, friendship, and start act responsibly for every single decision we're making, so maybe we can create something much more better life conditions for everyone. If only we started with these little small changes of self-development, because you speak about this heartfulness meditations you're taking, and it's very important for all of us to develop these human values, this simple moral values inside of us as well. And this is why happiness is, of course, as you right said, in every single person's eyes is different. For some might be that acceptable, for us is not. So this is why we need to find common goals together as humanity, to find the solutions for make everyone happier, living and safe and stable world as well. So my next question will be to you, because we know that you are traveled a lot and you met so many different people. So could you please tell us, what do you think unites all of us, regardless of our nationality, religion, social status, gender, color, age, or anything? So what do you think we all have in common as humanity?
Well, with the fear of sounding repetitive, I think there is a general goodness in all of us as humans, if we forget about all that differentiates us. If you look at the fact that we are humans, the fact that there is a common race, there is look at the commonality that is there within all of us. And if you're able to look at the person's heart, it's the heart in the sense that you're able to relate to people, I think then, all the differences melt away. I want to just share a very interesting discussion that I had just last night I was on another event, and we were talking about differences. And, You look at how parents are. When you have a child, your child may be what you can call conventionally the best looking child in the world, or not the best looking child. There's so many attributes to your own child. But as a parent, you are all absorbing, all welcoming, you're all heart towards your child. You don't look at the shortcomings, you don't look at the deficiencies. But when it comes to somebody else, when it comes to what you consider your own, you're all heart. You're all accepting. Even your child does something wrong, you're mollycoddling the child, you're saying no. But when it comes to somebody else, equal rights, everything that is there on paper or imposed by law or in society, you still have these very, very deep divisions, which unfortunately manifested itself in a certain circumstance. Because we are only looking at an imposition of something on society, where you say, from tomorrow, equal rights. The real acceptance, the real equality happens is when simultaneously the individual genuinely accepts. When your heart opens up and says that, yes, I accept that this is it. I will respect the other person for what it is. Even if I may disagree with Nari or you or anybody else, I will respect the way I expect the other person to allow me to have my point of view, respect my point of view. I will create that compassion within myself to allow that person. When I say allow, they don't need my permission, but in my heart that I must respect what they also feel, what their point of view is. The challenge in society is, while we talk about such things, we talk about a certain element of imposition in such certain things. What we don't do simultaneously is help people open their hearts and genuinely bring about that change within themselves. A change which is imposed will not sustain.
This is why today we need all unite, isn't it? And this discussion as a human beings as well, because yes, you're right about we need to respect each other and just simple mutual respect towards each other and understand, recognize our differences as well, acknowledge that we have them and try to learn from each other, because our world is beautiful, diverse, and we can learn from each other as well quite a lot. And this is why we have amazing tools like diplomatical tools and other tools to actually have discussions about how can we live all together. If we realize we want human family and nothing separates us, and this is biggest illusion in the world, this illusion of separation, and we put aside all our differences and start thinking from perspective of human being itself as a human life, so we can overcome, I think, as humanity so much. And this is why thank you so much for your opinion and your view as well. And yes, we are together, and once we start to treat each other honestly, it's going to be a big impact on society as well. So right now we would like to introduce to you and to our viewers, it's a project Creative Society, how it actually all started. And these foundations, 8 foundations of Creative Society. So our viewers, please, you can visit our website and read them full articles there. So let's watch now a short video about these 8 foundations we created. So let's see it now, how it was done.
The biggest social polling in our entire history of civilization has been conducted during the last 10 years by people around the world. 180 countries, millions of people of different social statuses, denominations, nationalities, talk about the society in which they want to live in. And this is a creative society based on the answers of the people from around the world. 8 foundations of creative society were established. A society where all people can live in happiness, peace, and prosperity. This is that very society that our prophets bequeathed to us. All prophets talked about the value of life, freedom, honesty, common human values, equality before God, mutual respect, and unification of people, about love for each other. They talked about the common truth, and about the world which we can create. The prophet said, there will be a time when we're able to build a creative society. We are honored to live in the time which the prophets talked about, when everyone is chosen.
So yes, thank you so much. So Rishabh, as you've seen, and our viewers as well. So we all together right now living in society when this time of change has come to all of us. And this realization, we need to do something about that, because we speak about the countries like India and other countries, which is yet need a lot of development there, and only together we can help each other and do that. And I'd love to ask you, because you're familiar with these 8 foundations of creative society, I'd love to ask you your opinion about this article, and what benefits can you see for yourself and every person when these 8 foundations are implemented in our society?
Well, they are what you can say some of the pillars of our existence. These are the ideals we need to live by, and it starts with me again, where I have to commit myself to live these ideals for myself and for the people around me before I can expect somebody else to subscribe to them or somebody else to live by them. So when I talk about human freedom, when I talk about human safety, when I talk about transparency, I think all these values start with me. I have to live them myself. I have to believe in them myself. And when that, when it is accepted by me, again, I think once it moves from me to somebody else, that's how a global movement of change happens. So I think these are very, very important pillars which each person should ruminate over, each person should imbibe in their lives. I think until unless that really happens, it's just theory, but these are the fundamental principles, I think, of a healthy world. Today, the world that we live in, and if we want to see a healthy world moving forward, these are the principles which we need to subscribe to, adhere to, and ruminate over and make them our own. And I would recommend that any person seriously interested in contributing to global change needs to look at this, and more importantly, not only look at it, but make it of their own.
Thank you very much for that input. It's very useful and valuable, I'm sure, for our viewers today, about envisaging the message and coming together collectively, and like you keep referring, starting with ourselves and spreading the message of growth. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about, obviously, the fact that you're you come from a business environment, you're an entrepreneur. So with all of that encompassing, I'd like to ask you, what do you think is required for creating a healthy economic model and business relations, like in terms of where everybody has equal rights and a decent quality of life? Could you just describe what that economic model would look like in an ideal world?
Well, I think the most important aspect of economy is opportunity. So while we may or may not be able to impose upon everyone economic equality, frankly, I don't think that works. We've seen that that attempt being made by communism, and it failed for several reasons. What is important is that everyone gets equal opportunity. And either of you referred to the fact that when we talk about a creative society, when we all have equal opportunity, we allow the creativity within us to prosper, to bloom in our chosen areas of expertise. But that can only happen if I have the expertise, and that can only happen if I get the opportunity to allow that to come forward. So suppose I'm a great painter, if I have that inherent quality in me. But if I don't get the opportunity, if I have to help my father earn 2 square meals a day in my house, and I have to let go of my entire ambition in life, or everything else that I ever wanted, and which is a sad reality for most countries, people in most countries today, where at very young age, children have to give up their dreams to be able to fend for themselves or contribute to their family. So I think equality of opportunity, and how does equality of opportunity come in, is where we create a society where, starting at a very young age, that economic freedom of opportunity is available, which is education. I think there are certain fundamental pillars. If we are able to bring, for example, universal education for all, where every child has the opportunity of going to a school, has the opportunity of learning for himself or herself the basics of education, and allowing an environment which will help them hone their interest and their skill, you will automatically find that as they move forward, the whole challenge of economic disparity, the whole challenge of economic inequality will be largely addressed. See, and even if everybody cannot be at the same economic standard, it's nobody's case that if one person has a Rolls Royce, everybody's going to roam around in Rolls Royces. But everybody will have the sense of satisfaction of doing what they really want to do and feeling satisfied and fulfilled with their own profession. Yes. So I think that aspect is very important. So again, coming back to the earlier thing that I said is, you cannot impose equality. It has to come from a sense of satisfaction and also sense of equal opportunity. And for frankly, you see, it's not, and see, suppose even if you were to give the same automobile to everybody, it's not necessary that everybody has the same interest or goal in life. I may have an automobile and want an aircraft, but for somebody else, their interest in life may be something else. So, I mean, imposing equality on somebody else, saying that, Rishabh has an automobile, so you should have an automobile, then only you two are equals, is actually an incorrect way of looking at it. So I think satisfaction and equality is about everyone getting equal opportunity and allowing them to bloom to the best of their abilities. And for every person, the benchmark is different, the standard is different, and the interest is different. I remember seeing a very interesting infographic, where they said there was in a lineup, there was an elephant and there was a horse and there was a bird and there was something. And you say, you cannot judge everyone by their ability to fly. Each person has their own unique strengths. So what is important to someone would be a very different skill set for someone else. So economic opportunity brings economic progress and success. So I think it's more about opportunity than anything else.
Thank you very much, Rashib. It's very, very important. Yes, economic is really important of development of every country. And you're right to touch the subject about education. We actually need to look now how to take different aspects of look how we educate our youth and our children as well, because we need to motivate them to actually learn more things and just to become their own leaders in this world as well. And just this in our hands right now to create these decent life conditions for everyone and accessible education for everyone. And then, yes, opportunities will be created for everyone, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for this point of view. And Rishabh, we also know that that you have read this article and you had amazing opinion on it, but also it's the first value and the first foundation of creative society is the human life. And you're working as a very successful entrepreneur yourself. So I'd love to ask you that next question. How do you envision the development of fragrance industry in creative society? How do you see the industrial and technological spheres in if human life is the highest value in society?
I think if we do some kind of, what should I say, reality check, which is that if we believe that human life is of the highest value, we have to also, if we believe in the theory of evolution, then I think we also must understand and respect the fact that if we believe that we have reached somewhere after a millennia of evolution, and that process of evolution continues even today. It cannot be that there was a process of evolution and it reached Homo sapiens and then that's it. Maybe now it's no longer as physical as it used to be, but evolution continues today. So if we are, in all humility, willing to accept that we are work in progress, that we need to evolve. And I remember in an earlier conversation, one of you mentioned that be the best versions of ourselves, which is basically living to the potential that we have. If we are work in progress, I think the importance of human life, the value of human life moves up substantially. We start respecting what we have achieved in the past, where evolution has brought us. But also we don't rest on our laurels and say, I need to move forward. This process of evolution continues, and I myself am a key part of that evolutionary process. I'm on a journey which has to move forward. I'm not at a pinnacle where now everything stagnates and goes down. I need to move forward. So if we have that evolutionary zeal within ourselves, I think a lot of these questions automatically get addressed.
Thank you very much for that. And I love the part about the accountability that you're talking about. If we all take personal accountability for the movement, then, like you said, everybody connects and joins together on this movement of creating a better society and a better life for people, and having the humanity concept within our everyday lives. So with having that in mind, if we think about a very simple concept of honesty and decency as integral parts of our personalities, what do you think, what will be the impact on relationships both in life and businesses, where the aim, if the primary aim was honesty and decency and mutual respect for each other over and above other secondary gains?
I think decency and mutual respect should be a personality trait, not an end in itself. I think we should start from there. That should not be the goal. I think as individuals, when we set out to do anything, unless we have that sense of decency as individuals, it will not reflect in business. The same goes with I mentioned earlier about our willingness to accept others. When does mutual respect come? When I trust in my heart that irrespective of my interests, I will have to respect Nari's interests or Ala's interests or somebody else's interest. So mutual trust and respect is something which again emanates from my heart. It cannot be imposed. And I don't think that can come across as a goal for business. Either you have it or you don't have it. So, you will find in your own interactions with business people, you go to a shop and, you meet someone and they have so much of heart into the work that they do. I come from India, and in India, when we talk about guests, for example, there is this Sanskrit phrase which says, Atiti Devo Bhava, which means the visitor is like a god. You may also have heard of things like the customer is the king, customer is God, things like that. It is not about the phrase. It's about our own feeling. It's about what we bring to the table when we start a business. If we have that inherently within us, it will not only reflect in the work that we do, it will reflect in every aspect of our lives. You cannot actually, humans cannot be segregated into different compartments. We all can't be a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. If I am a good person, that goodness will emanate in every way. It cannot be that I'm a good businessman, but a bad parent, a bad son, or irresponsible person in society. You can't be a good businessman and not be a responsible person in society. Because when you're a good businessman, I have to pay my taxes, I have to do my due, I have to give do my duty towards my effort towards society. So I think it's important that whenever we segregate our various aspects of personality, we should instead perhaps look at a different aspect, which is integrate everything. Integrate everything into making the person that we are. If a certain person within himself, in his heart, if there is a human transformation, you will find every aspect of that person's life, personal, social, economical, everything changing. But if we try to change a person's certain aspect, we may or may not succeed. But without that integration in the person, it will never be long lasting.
Thank you so much, yes, Shib, for your answer. And today, all this discussion today, we speak about these personal responsibilities, about unity, about this effort we need to put together and do something in changing the world as well. And it just, so we would like to show you now a short video, which is from conference, which is held last year, Creative Society United We Can, and then we can, which is actually going to show us what kind of world we live right now and why we need this together, like this effort to change our world. So let's watch this little video now.
Aliens came to Earth. At first they flew around it, saw everything, and then decided to talk to the people on Earth. They asked, "Why do you have so much garbage and garbage cans?" "Well, this is because we don't have enough money to build waste processing plants." "But why do you have so many hungry and homeless people?" "Well, this is because we don't have enough money to feed them and build houses for them." "But why are you constantly at war with each other?" "This is because we don't have enough money and we're trying to take it away from others." The aliens scratched their heads and said, "We fly around galaxies, have explored many worlds and planets, but have never met such a rare and, as it turns out, such a very necessary resource as money. Could you show us what it looks like and show where you get it in space? Then we will try to get it, bring you more of this money, and help you establish harmony on your planet." "We don't fly anywhere to get money," the Earthlings answer. "We print it ourselves." "Yourselves?" said the aliens. "Yes." After this answer, Earthlings were deleted from the list of intelligent beings.
Yes, this little animated video has shown us now its joke on us as humanity. And at 21st century, we're still living in not decent conditions, let's say it very gently. And this is why now we need to do something about this. And we only can do it together. And Rishabh, you know that Creative Society project currently at informational stage. So we would like to ask you that next question regarding that as well, is basically, what is the role and responsibility of every person in this global achievement to build a creative society?
Well, at the risk of sounding repetitive, I think the role is first to be a role model yourself. I don't think we can impact society, change society, unless I change myself. And I think once our heart changes and there is that shift in our consciousness, it automatically will start embracing everyone else. Unless that happens from within us, we can go on trying to talk about it and impress someone else. I really love that video that you just showed. You know, it was really simple and beautiful, and the message is really impactful. My compliments to all the people who are involved in doing this. But having seen that message, if I don't imbibe it within myself, it's of no consequence. Today, you look at right now India is going through a huge crisis, medical crisis, and there's been a shortage of a lot of medical equipment, and a lot of nations have opened their hearts up and tried to send stuff and do things. And also there have been nations which may have felt, we need to do things for ourselves first and stuff like that. When we live in an integrated world, unless that sense that I have to share does not come in. Now, I'm not getting into the geopolitics of any of this. But if I'm not moved enough by the pain or the challenge faced by another fellow human, we cannot call ourselves one part of a humanity. That's not humanity. So I think when we look at these things, the kind of illustrations that were there in that video, that we have all this. Are we willing to share? Are we compassionate enough in our heart? Is our heart open enough to accept and be giving? And that cannot be from a mental sphere where we say, this is, I'm a very charitable person. It's not about being charitable. It's again all about what we are within us. What we are within us will automatically somewhere move out. It will spread. It will move. It will attract others. It will infect others. But it has to come genuinely from within genuinely within our hearts itself in the first place.
Yes, thank you so much. And Shab, I also would like to ask is that what is you will be doing after this interview? How you will be spread this information about the Creative Society? What is your thought on it?
Well, I'm very happy to have come in touch with this movement, the Creative Society, because I have been involved, as you all have mentioned, in a global movement called Heartfulness for more than almost 3 decades today. Even as a child, and we have been contributing to so many things globally. I would recommend everyone to look at our website. It's called www.heartfulness.org. It's a very simple practice of meditation. And today, as I was mentioning, the like attracts like. So having been a part of a movement where you are trying to bring a positivity in people. Today, perhaps somewhere in the universe conspires, because that is there in my heart, that I am able to get in touch with lovely people, committed people like you all, who are also trying the same thing. So when everyone joins hands, and it happens in a very natural way. If today I feel that I must do something, tomorrow you feel, day after tomorrow somebody else feels. It's like a natural course in a river, different tributaries joining a massive river and moving towards the sea. It happens very naturally and people get together. It's like a movement. It's no longer something which you plan for, and things don't happen with planning like that. When the consciousness shifts, when the change happens, when people want to move forward, it happens spontaneously. I don't think there is a discussion around it ever. So today, having been of a certain mindset with these kind of interests, today I have been in touch with you all, and I'm sure all of us together, when we all get together organically, naturally, spontaneously, it will all move forward towards a society. And this change that we're talking about will definitely happen. I have absolutely no doubt about it.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. Something you mentioned earlier on, and this is absolutely true, in the situation we're in now, the crisis that we're experiencing in India, and obviously we've had this in all parts of the world at varying times. At a time, especially now, where people are feeling demoralized, maybe defeated, or feel like giving up, how important is it right now in particular to be that good example of a human exhibiting good moral values and creating a culture of self-improvement, both personally and professionally? And I'm talking in particular being an example to the youth. So where the youth can see people are giving, people are losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, losing their livelihoods. How can we make sure that the youth don't give up and continue on that quest of continuous improvement and being the best person that they can?
Despite all adversity, despite any situation that we may face, the one thing that keeps driving a human being is hope. If you don't have hope, you may have everything else in life and be unhappy. If you have hope, you will be able to overcome all challenges in life. So I think the most important aspect that needs to be instilled within all our hearts is hope. Hope means believing in ourselves, believing in society, believing in the goodness of things, and believing in the fact that this too shall pass. When we talk about, because as I mentioned, with heartfulness, I'm a meditation trainer, and I have sessions every day when people come in and ask questions. And the one challenge in a pandemic, the one challenge that people face is the fear is the lack of hope. I have lost my job. Think of it this way, maybe 5 years back, if someone had wanted to go on a holiday for 6 months, people were quitting jobs and very confidently traveling with that hope and that confidence that when I come back, I will have a better job, a job waiting for me, a better job waiting for me, whatnot. Why is it that the same situation does not happen today? Because of lack of hope. We have that fear in our hearts. So I think what is important is, especially with the youth, when they get frustrated, when they are unhappy, when they are unsure, when they are afraid, and that is not only about youth, it's all about all of us. If we are able to instill this aspect of hope within our hearts, that whatever happens, happens for the best. There is something good that can come out of it for ourselves. I remember, of course, now we've been more than a year down in the pandemic. I remember the early last year, around the same time the pandemic had just started. And I was doing a whole lot of talks to college students and everything, And I used to tell them, think of it this way. How many of us have not hoped that, I wish I had a month's break from everything and I would do A, B, C, D, E. I would read all the books that I have not been able to read. I will pick up a skill that I have not been able to do. I will learn cooking. I will write that book that I wanted to always write but have not been able to do. Things like that. It's the same situation. Worrying about a situation is not going to change the situation. If, for example, nature has given you that opportunity, has given you that break, which you secretly and otherwise were looking for and wanting all the time in your life. I wish I had a break. I wish I didn't have to worry about my office every day. I wish I could just take a clean slate for 2 weeks. We have more than 2 weeks today. What are we doing about it? Are we doing those skills, or we are moaning about the fact that you may lose your job, the economy is coming down, things like that. So it may sound very annoying and repetitive again and again. It's all about us, my heart, my attitude, how I take things. You cannot change society unless my attitude changes. You cannot impact even your own spouse or your child or your parent unless you bring that change within yourself. Children today learn more out of example than by anything that you may try to teach them in words. I cannot possibly tell my child, don't lie, and the next sentence I do is lie in front of the child. They learn by example. So I think we have to reflect those values. And what changes is, and why I keep advocating heartfulness to people is because heartfulness is not about somebody else. It is about connecting with your own heart. There is no separate deity, there is no separate person, there is no separate institution that can do anything for you. You have to work on yourself in your heart. If you want to build muscle, you have to go to the gym, you have to work the machines. All the money in the world cannot buy you that body. It won't happen. Even if you take shortcuts, even if you do steroids, even whatever you may do. It's like that. So if we want to bring about that change, first in myself, in my society, in the world we are in, I think the first step that we need to do is do something about it ourselves. And the change comes from within. When we say within, it is the heart. And when we talk about the heart, it is not the physical organ that we're talking about. It is within ourselves. Unless that change emanates from us, you will not be able to see anything outside. So I think that is the message for the youth. And I can tell you this in my decade experience as a meditation trainer, as someone who volunteers a lot of his time in these aspects. I can see that change happening. Today's youth is far more focused, far more smarter. They're looking for much more value, much more substance than perhaps I was as a kid. They're seeing things much faster. The world is much more closer. They have much more access to information thanks to the internet. So what we call distraction and problems are also the biggest enablers, if you want to look at it that way. To the fact that you are in various parts of the United Kingdom, I am in India. Just look at this enabling aspect of technology. So we have to bring the goodness that is all around us. Take this message forward. And I respect all of you and salute all of you for taking the time off and volunteering to do this. It's again a reflection of the goodness of your heart, that on a weekday afternoon, the weekend is approaching, you might as well sit in a pub. I don't know whether UK pubs are open or not, but you're here talking to me. So we are all, there is a certain element of goodness which we all have to bring out. And it will make that impact. I can see that happening, with the pandemic. So we have an app, it's a free app which helps people relax and meditate. It's called Hearts app. You can download it free for Android as well as iOS phones. And every day, hundreds of thousands of people are signing up because they feel the need to change. They feel that need within ourselves. And they're doing it in the anonymity of their homes, by themselves, using certain tools, using technology to bring that change in themselves. So that is what gives me hope. And as long as there is hope, there is life, and there is a future, a wonderful future which awaits all of us.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. It's absolutely amazing and wonderful and fantastic. Actually, this message for you and for actually every single person is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Because yes, we are dependent on each other. And by connecting through your own heart, I will speak heart as not physical organ, as you said, we start to understand that we're all the same. We're all interconnected. We all have same feelings, and we all have this same values in life as well. After all of us would like to be just happy and safe, and that's it. And to do that, it is big and huge effort together. So this is why we need to stand up hand by hand and speak about this and actually acting on it. Hope is an amazing tool as well to never give up on yourself, never give up on anybody next to you, appreciate everyone next to you, and just help each other. Because every single person is, as we said today, depends on each other. And as whatever country you live in, whoever you are, your wealth, your good, and everything depends on the other person next to you, and same this person next to you. This is why we need to all together. It's a big global achievement to build the world we all deserve to live in. So thank you so much for that amazing examples, for that amazing conversation today. And one of the ways to spread information about creative society, we're using the theory of 6 handshakes, which stands for that all people are connected through 5 or less social connections. And this comes my next question to you, is whom you would like to invite for our next live broadcast, so this person can share their vision about creative society, and why you're choosing this person.
I would like to invite the entire humanity. Why should we restrict it to one? I think this message is so important and so powerful that we need to integrate all of us. So, and if it has to make impact, it cannot work with ones and twos. It needs to be a much faster, much bigger movement. So let us endeavor, all of us, to touch as many people as possible, all together in the shortest possible time. And I'm sure that we can succeed in this mission. So I'm happy to nominate more than one person, and I will be in touch and bring forth this message to as many people as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, so in order to conclude, I'd just like to mention to our dear viewers, in order to join this amazing movement of Creative Society project of the Allatra International Public Movement, please visit our website, which is allatraunites.com, where you will find the red button to join. All you need to do to register and complete a short and easy form, and then you can be part of this amazing movement as well. So thank you very much for that.
So thank you very much, Rashib, for your beautiful conversation today, and very enriching and inspirational actually as well. So, and thank you very much, Nari, for being such a beautiful host. And we would like to say, our dear viewers, thank you for being with us and watching us today. And I hope you learned a lot from this conversation. And we would love to thank our technical support, who is on the backstage, working and helping us with this broadcast. And we would like to wish you, Rishabh, everything is blessings on your path, and good luck with your work, and stay connected with us, and let's do it together. Let's really build a world that our children and next generations and everybody deserve to live in. And we can do it only together. So thank you so much for participating.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.